Mike, stand up. If I remove Mike's heart, okay, what do we got? We got a dead Mike, okay? And I hope this mic is live, okay? Otherwise, we have no sound over there. We have a dead mic. The heart is crucial. Thanks, Mike. The heart is crucial for this matter, all right? Is that above all else, you need to guard your heart, for it is the source of life. Everything comes out of your heart. Give me an athlete who gives me a half-hearted effort, and guess what? We're going to have a half-hearted team. So we got to understand, how do we get this thing to be a full heart? Why is it important to train it? Because my friend back there said it's right. Life comes from the heart. And if we could kill the heart, you're dead. I don't care what talents, what abilities you have. If your heart's not in it, nothing's going to happen. Nothing will be produced, anything that is good. Now, some of you guys are giving me a great effort right now with your heart by sitting up and focusing on me. That shows me respect. That shows me that your heart's in it. Okay, right now, you're showing me by your body language if your heart's in this talk or not. Now, a couple of guys started to sit up right away because they're going, you know what? I want to show Coach my heart's in this talk. And I appreciate you sitting up. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay, because that shows me he's listening. He's with me right now. All right, now, how many parts are there to a heart? Anybody know? 4. Hurst, what are they? Oh, okay, in a real heart, there's 4 chambers to a heart. But now, in a person, listen, in a person, there's 4 parts to the heart to make you a complete player. First of all, it's with your heart that you believe. If you don't believe in it happening, it's not going to happen. I got Casey over here. Casey, throw me that ball. If I don't believe I can hit Casey with a good pass, then I won't. But if I believe I can do it, I just might do it. All right, nice catch, Case. So the question is, if you don't believe, it's not going to happen on the field. It won't happen off the field. So you got to believe. So say this with me. It is with my heart that I believe. See, that's the first thing. What do you believe in? When you're facing the Giants, because that's today's talk, when you're facing the Giants, do you believe you can take the Giant down? Because if you don't believe it, it won't happen. I don't know who your giant is. I don't know what your giant is, but I'm going to ask you in a second. Second part, say this with me. As a man thinks in his heart, so he is. That's the mental part of the athlete. What's your attitude? I mean, do you have stinking thinking? Or is your attitude, here's good thinking. I get to go to practice today. I get to come to Kelly camp today. Oh, bad thinking? I got to go to Kelly camp today. Well, that's the thinking. The good thinking is, I get to come here. It's a privilege to come here. It's great to be here. Then you know what? You're going to have a great camp. You'll have a great camp. Now, next piece, say this with me. Love one another, deeply from the heart. Can I tell you, you can have, Casey, you want to stand up? You can have all the ability. You can have all the knowledge. You can be getting all the props. You can have the girlfriend, but if you don't love your teammates, you got nothing. Without love, there is nothing. I know guys that scored winning touchdowns in a rivalry game, went in, and they're dancing in the end zone like this, and turn around and see all their teammates walk away from them. He said it was the loneliest feeling in his life. I said, why do you think that? Because he goes, I was all about me. So if you don't care for your teammates, you don't love for your teammates, you can't be a complete player. You won't be able to conquer the Giants as much. Thanks, Case. Fourth piece, say this with me. Whatever I do, work at it. With all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. I mean, you're bringing it. Everything you got, you're doing it. Today, when you're doing your drills, are you stepping to the back of the line and going like, go ahead, I'm just going to sit this one out? Or are you going, hey, I want to get to the front of the line. I want to be the first guy up. See, guys that step to the back of the line won't conquer Giants. Guys are stepping to the front of the line and go like, hey, coach, I'm ready. You're a giant conqueror. So let's talk about Giants today. But I'm going to say finish, you say strong. Finish, finish. Because guys that conquer Giants finish strong. All right, you notice I'm not doing a lot of standing up. Let me tell you why. I don't want to talk down to you today. I want to speak to your heart today. Because everything is a heart issue. Why? If you know who Vince Lombardi is, raise your hand. Good. Now, tell me who he is. Yeah, who's Vince Lombardi? Packers coach. What's named after him? Super Bowl trophy. So let's listen to what the most famous coach in the world ever said. He said this about football. He says, "It is essential to know that all battles are won and lost." Where? In the hearts of men. Very good. So Lombardi knew that all the battles on the field and off the field are won or lost right here. Here's where it's at. So my question today would be to you, what's your heart look like? Say this with me. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the source of life. So if some girl can steal your heart, you may not be a great football player. If something on the internet starts to steal your heart and you start gravitating there, then you know what? You're not going to reach your potential, because you need all your heart to reach your potential in anything that you do. Anything. You need the full heart. Now, that's why the statement says this: as in a mirror, face sees face, so a man's heart reveals the man. Let me just hang out with you a little bit, and after a while I'll go like, what does he smell like? Because the aroma of your heart is what I'll smell. You can put on the best Nike outfit, you can have the Nike bag, you can have the Under Armour spikes, you can have the greatest uniform, but what's your heart like? What's it like? So, okay, let's talk about facing the Giants. All right? So, a question this year. What are some of the Giants you guys are going to face? What are some of the things that you're going to have to overcome this year? I can't hear you guys speak up. Linemen. Okay, good. What else? Girls, yeah. It could be one of the greatest distractions you might have this year. You know, so how do you overcome that? What does that look like? Because you know what? There's only so much of you. You're either going to choose to serve the team or choose to serve yourself. That's what this jersey kind of stands for. Let me tell you something. I just came up with this the other day. It's pretty cool. Leaders lead from the front. Leaders lead from the front, not the back. Whoa. That might be too deep for you. Let me get it across. Leaders are more concerned about their team than they are about their rep, their image, how many touches I'm getting. True leaders lead from the, what? Front. I can't hear you. Guys that are leading from the back are concerned about themselves. Which way you leading this year? I mean, that may be the first giant you have to overcome. And that's what these hurdles are. Because we're all standing here playing it really safe. I'm playing it safe. And then I got this little hurdle that's going to come against me. It's going to be one of my giants. I don't know what it is, but this is kind of a dinky one. No big deal. I might step right over that. But some of you may never even get off the base. Here's why. Image. Reason I don't get off the base is because I'm concerned about my image, and if I stay on the base, I'm just playing it cool. I'm all right, I'm cool, I'm safe. When the pressure comes, I go, you know, I'm going to stay right here because I'm just going to hang out with my homies, and I'm not going to go against the grain. So how do we get this overcoming, conquering thing? Here's the character trait that you need. We always deal with character words. Say faith. Faith overcomes fear. Faith overcomes giants. You gotta have faith. So where does that come from? But first of all, what's your definition of faith? You guys tell me. What? Oh, believing in something you can't see. You know what that's called to me? What's your name? Connor. Believing in something you can't see. To me, that's called a comeback. That's called when you're down 20-some points and you can't see if we're going to win or not, but you're believing in it anyway. You're not playing the scoreboard. You're playing by faith and not by sight. You're not looking at the scoreboard going, oh man, we're in trouble. Look how big they are. I mean, how many guys, be honest with me now, have looked across at the other field and been intimidated a couple of times in your life going like, oh my gosh, look at them. Raise your hand and be honest. Thank you. You know what? Join the crowd. So what do we do to get over that intimidation of how big they are? All right? Stay with me. Keep giving me eye contact. When the eyes start to fade, I know the heart's not in it anymore. So here's the deal. Faith is developing an unshakable truth. An unshakable truth in yourself in your teammates, in your coaches, and then what you do is you act upon it. Okay, acting upon it is this. Case, ball. If I go, well, I think I can hit Case, I think I can hit Case, I think I can hit Case, yeah, I know I can hit Case, but I never throw it to him. Or yeah, Casey will catch it, Casey will catch it. It means I don't have faith in Casey, I just threw it to another guy. So faith is that you got to act on what you believe. If I think I can hit Case, then I better step and throw the thing. You got to do it. You got to take the step off the base and get over the hurdle. So what other hurdles do we have? What other obstacles do we have? Oh, you guys just going to have an easy season, huh? No problems at Sweet Home this year? No problems whatsoever, Mike, huh? Okay, good. No problems at St. Mary's? No, everything's just going to be cool. You know, we're just going to smooth right through this whole season? No, I don't think so. What? What? Oh, people who are going to make you do the wrong thing. Can I tell you something? No one's going to make you do anything wrong. You're going to choose to do wrong. They might press you to do something wrong, but it's still your choice. You see, and that's what we're talking about. They're asking me to do something wrong. And I'm going, no, I won't. Sorry. I'm over that one. Does that make sense to you? Otherwise, you're going to sit here and worry about your image. You'll go, yeah, you know what? Coach ain't looking. It's no big deal. Oh, it is a big deal. Because where you want to be is over the goal line, which is where? Down there. Yeah. Classroom. Big giant. Why is it a giant? Yeah, you know what? You might not do well in it because here's why. We get so tied up with this thing that we don't think about the classroom. I'll just play another battle of Call of Duty. That homework will wait. Oh, come on, raise your hand if you're playing Call of Duty. How many guys are playing Call of Duty? Just a few of you, okay. Maybe you guys just don't want to admit it. But the bottom line is, this could be it, or it could be something else. It may be you're just playing 6 hours of Madden football. I mean, that's an obstacle. I got to conquer this thing. I got to go like, no. My team is more important than Madden. Why? Because I got to get good grades. What else is an obstacle? Yeah. Pardon? Oh, controversy on the team. Very good. How do we handle that? How do we encourage others to come along with us? That's all about faith also. So let's look at the 4 parts of conquering a giant. The first one, say this with me. All things are possible if you believe. If you believe, then you can stay away from that stuff you shouldn't do. If you believe, then maybe you can take care of that controversy. If you believe, then you know what? You can do the job in the classroom. But you got to believe first. If you don't believe, it won't happen. Okay, say this with me. Faith overcomes fear. Now let's take a look at that. I need a couple of guys to grab a couple of coins for me. Anybody? Okay, here you go. Oh yeah, okay, I'll take one. Oh, he's got that one. He's got one. Who else needs one? Here, I want a coin. Who wants a coin? You want a coin way in the back? Oh, you missed that one. You got to catch that one next time. Here we go. Hey, right over. Yeah, you're sitting up. I'd love to give you one. Okay, you. Okay, here we go. Coming back at you again. Hey, way back in the corner. One right over his head. Okay, here we go. You got to keep looking. All right. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you got? Quarter, what do you got? Dime, what do we got? Penny, what do we got? Anybody got a nickel? You got a nickel, good. So we have all these, look at me. What this represents is what you bring to the team. And I'm not saying you're bringing a penny's worth. I'm saying it defines the talents and abilities you bring, because everybody's talents and abilities are different. The question is, if we're going to overcome the giants on the field, are you going to take your faith and drop it in the team bucket? Oh, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to show you in a second. Say this with me one more time. All things are possible for those who believe. That's the first thing you got to understand. If you don't believe that, then you're not going to overcome, you're not going to conquer giants. You're not going to defeat giants. All right? Because there's all kinds of giants. Now, faith overcomes fear and obstacles also. So let's take a look at the think aspect of this. So here we go. I got this deposit of faith. I got something to give to the team. The question is, What am I going to do with it? Am I going to put it in the team bank? Oh yeah, somebody's been making some deposits. I mean, are we gonna deposit in the team bank this year my ability, every practice, given everything I got, getting better at what I'm doing, am I gonna put it in the team bank at practice? Am I gonna trust my teammates and coaches and say, you know what, I'm gonna put it in. Now you got 3 places to put it. So here it is. You have a choice to stick it in your pocket and say, you know what, it's all about me. I'm selfish, it's about the name in the back, and coach, I'll give you my best in practice when I feel like giving it. Or you could say, you know what, I believe in the team, I believe in the cause, I believe in everybody. Hey, today at practice, I'm putting it all in. Or you have the other thing. You're scared to death. And you go like, no way, baby. I'm hiding it. I'm not giving up. I'm just scared. Things that you could be scared about. What can you be scared about in practice or a game? Pardon? People that are bigger than you. Good. What else? Doing something wrong. How many guys are sometimes afraid of making that mistake out there? Raise your hand. Guys, let me tell you, that is one of the bigger giants we got to overcome. We got to overcome the fear of making mistakes. If you don't do that, you may as well sit back here. And your team will never reach its potential, and neither will you. The question is, we got to do the little things, the little hurdles in practice to get over, so when that game day comes, I'm ready to go. And when the giant comes, hey, that was a great one. Both of them were good. Anyone else? What? Oh, embarrassment. How many guys have ever felt embarrassed when you messed up? Good. Why? You know what? You guys are doing really good. Hey, could we just squeeze in just a little bit? Just a little bit. Because I don't want to shout at you. I don't like shouting at guys. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, right back over here. We talked about embarrassment, and somebody said what over here? Okay. Hey, we're afraid to make mistakes because we're afraid to get embarrassed. Now, why do we get embarrassed? Pardon? You let your team down. But even though I let my team down, are they the one embarrassing me, or am I just embarrassed? Pardon? Okay, embarrassed because, yeah, it's selfish. He goes, I embarrassed myself. Oh, that's very good. That I messed up and look how bad I am, right? The question is, I want a guy, is he going to go for it? Not worried about, well, I don't want to make a mistake because I might embarrass myself. That is totally selfish. That's totally worried about your image. It's totally worried about the name in the back. You're sitting there going, I'm not going to take that chance because if I do, I look bad. Well, you know what? This is where your team will be. You'll be nice and safe at home because you're not going to reach your potential. I love that. Now let's take a look at this. Are you the person that is willing to, here's the think part. Here's how you got to start thinking, right? We got believe and think. This is the thought process. Are you the person who's willing to risk it and go for it? Or are you going to play it safe? Are you the guy who has faith, boom, or are you afraid? Can I tell you something? When the practice is over, look at me. If you went there being selfish and you put the penny in your pocket or whatever it is and practice is over, guess what? You can't do anything to put in the team bucket. You may as well take it out and put it in the trash because it's worthless. But if you're the guy that's going like, hey, you know what? I'm giving all the time. Now say this with me. Do not grow tired of doing good. For at the proper time, you will be rewarded if you don't lose heart. Oh, we're back to that heart thing again. You can't lose heart. You got to keep going for it. You got to resolve in your heart that, you know what, somewhere along the line, I'm going to be rewarded for this. And it might not even, I mean, what's the biggest reward movie there ever was for a guy that kept giving his heart for the team? What is the biggest movie? Rudy. I mean, do you think Rudy was thinking there while he was giving his heart to the team all the time that he was going to have a movie done by him? No. Rudy was more concerned about the name on the than he was on the. And who ended up being the leader because he led from the front? Rudy did. Right. He led from the front. He wasn't worried about the Rudy on the back. It just happened that he got rewarded. You guys are doing great. Are you somebody who has courage over here, or are you about image over here? I don't know where you are today. Now, how do we get more confidence? Here's what Peyton Manning said. Now, he's a pretty good quarterback. He said this: through my preparation and hard work, I become confident. The question is, how hard you're working, how hard you're preparing. Because the harder you work and the harder you prepare, Vince Lombardi said this: the harder I work, the harder it is to surrender, and I might not be able to get over this hurdle, but maybe I just knock it over. I maybe not get over the top, but I'll just go over it. Look at me. Life is about hurdles. If you know anything about hurdling and track, this is set in a lane, and you have to go over it. If you go around it, you're disqualified, and you won't reach the end. If you go underneath it, you're disqualified. You may hit it as long as you go over it, but you need to go over it. So you need to have core values in you that you're going to hang on to. Look at me. I don't know what you're made of. I mean, is the core value of you is faith, respect, poise? Is that what you're made of on the inside? Because if you are, you'll conquer giants. Now let's get to the love part. Say this with me: love one another deeply for the heart. What that means is you'll take a stand for what is right. And here's why you'll do it. This is why love is the most important thing that you can have as a teammate. But we don't know what love is. Love is sacrificing yourself for the benefit of the team. That's the guy that's sitting right here. They'll say, Coach, I come to be a fullback, but if you need a guard, that's me. Coach, I'm a wide receiver, but if you need a DB, that's me. Coach, whatever it takes, that's sacrificing for the team. Look at me. You're a second team player here. You're probably one of the most valuable guys that are around because one, if we only got 11 guys, we got no way to practice against. We can't get any better. So what are you doing? You're leading from the front. Now the reason I brought this jersey is because it's my son's. And I'm very proud of him. You see, when he was a senior playing for Lancaster, he was supposed to play defensive end. And he's supposed to start at left guard. Well, right before the first game against Kenmore West, they go, oh, you ain't playing defensive end today, you're not even starting as a guard. But we're going to put you at nose tackle today. He never practiced nose tackle all the way through doubles. He goes, okay, coach, whatever it takes. First game of the season, there he is, big old Sean Matthew up there just plowing into guys. All of a sudden they throw a screen pass, he steps over, picks it up, and he's running for the goal line in the first game. Not even playing a position he's supposed to be playing at. Now, if he was smart, he just ran it in, but he thought he had moves. He made a move and he fell down in a 2, so he didn't get the touchdown. He should have just been a lineman and plowed it in. So next week they go to play, and guess what? Oh, hey, you're not playing nose guard this week. Matter of fact, you're not even going to play defense. What? I mean, I'm dad watching this, go like, what? Hey, but we're going to put you at left tackle this week. He goes, I've been practicing at guard. Okay, left tackle? Good, left tackle. So they win the second game of the season. Next week, guess what? The defensive end goes down. Now he's playing DN, and they take him off a left tackle. Next week, the center goes down. Hey, Sean, you're centering this week, and you're going to play DN. Next week, hey, the center's back. Sean, you're going to go, now you're going to go to guard, and you're going to play DN. So the rest of the year, he played guard and DN. Well, he had a goal, just like a lot of you guys have goals. And I believe because of his attitude and his sacrifice for playing the name on the front, he got a chance to play on the turf. Yeah. This team won their division, and they got to play in the sectional finals at the Ref. And they got their tail kicked. But I don't know about you, I'd rather get on the big carpet and get a shot than not get one at all. And what my son proved to me that he was willing to not worry about the name on the back, but the name on the front. And so he got his chance his senior year. See, because say this with me, perfect love, perfect love, casts out all fear. Guys, get this now. If you love your teammates and they love you, you don't have to worry about making a mistake because they care for you more than a mistake, and you'll start stepping over hurdles very easily because that you guys care for each other. If you don't get anything, say this one more time again. Perfect love, casts out all fear. So a giant, a person who's conquering giants, is always playing for something bigger than himself. If you want to be a giant slayer, you need to be playing for the team, something that's bigger than you. Because then that gives me the courage to go for it because it's not about me then. It's about the team. How many guys in here want to be a giant slayer? Yeah, we all do. I've just given you some things. First of all, look at me. You got to believe. Number two, you got to have good thinking. You got to think courage, not image. Say it with me. Number one, believe. Number two, courage, not image. Number three, love. Never fails. One more time. Number one, got to believe. Number two, what's number two? Courage, not image. One more time. Courage, not image. Courage, not image. Number three, love never fails. Love never fails. Good, excellent. Now, let me get, as we wrap this up here, in the next couple minutes, I want you to get three things I'm going to help you to overcome temptation of many things. Temptation of the computer. Temptation of making wrong decisions. You know it's good and you know it's bad. You know if you go to the party and drink, we're in trouble. Some schools, if you just go to the party, guess what? Automatic death sentence. If you're caught there, whether you're drinking or not, you're gone. Look at me. Say this. When in doubt, don't. So if you're going like good, bad, good, and you're doubting, and it's a good, bad situation, you just go, no, I ain't going there. If there's a doubt, a check in your spirit that is this situation good or bad, you just don't. Because the opposite of doubt is faith. And what I say, the first thing you got to have to conquer a giant is faith. Yes. Number two, you got to have a plan. Say this with me. It's not if, something or temptation will come, but when. So I already know it's going to come. What's my plan? I know I'm going to go to a place that could be sketchy. My son, he got invited to a party, a football team party. Not that it was a bad party, there wasn't any drinking, but he went with his girlfriend. There was no other girls there. He goes, this isn't good for my girlfriend. I got to go. His plan was, hey, Dad, you know what? I'm coming home, bringing a girlfriend home right now. You know, she's the only girl here. It's just not a good place for her. You see, that was a giant for him. He had to conquer the peer pressure. One of his buddies going to say, well, whoa, yeah, because you're going to leave him for. He was protecting his girlfriend. Giant slayers protect their teammates. They do what's right because they know what's right. And you do it. And good things happen. Third thing, first I said, when in doubt, don't. Second, get a plan. Third, say this with me, don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. Bad company. Bad company. Corrupts good character. Who are you hanging with? Because I'll tell you right now, whoever your friends are, I'll tell you what you're going to look at 4 years from now. Just by who your friends are. Because you're going to be like them. You might say, well, I'm just helping them out. No. Don't be deceived. Bad company is going to mess you up. We're dealing with a situation right now with a real big-time player in Western New York football who's made some poor decisions this summer already, and he may not play. And he was all Western New York last year. And he just may not make it because he's made poor decisions this summer already because he didn't understand, when in doubt, don't. Have a plan. Don't associate with bad people. One more time, 3 things to be a giant slayer. Number 1, just believe. Say it with me, just believe.
Just believe.
Number 2, courage over image. Number 3, love never
Fails.
Love never.
Fails.
So what does this look like? What does a giant killer look like? Casey Kaz, come on out here. Looks like this guy. As long as I see Casey ever play, I never see him drop his head in the field. His head's always up, winning or losing. I see him, he went to a college, they didn't give him any playing time, so he decided to transfer someplace else. And he wasn't going, oh, woe is me, coach, I can't believe they didn't play me. He goes, you know what, I'll find a place to play. He kept his head, say it with me, up. So he went to another place, didn't get a lot of playing time there. He read the writing on the wall, he got smart and says, you know what, I can't play here because, you know what, they got scholarship guys in here and I'm not scholarship, but I really want to play. So he could have sat there and go, woe is me, I quit football. You know what, it just doesn't look like there's a spot for me in college football, woe is me. So he made his first transfer, then he made his second transfer, and then he goes, now they say that the quarterback that's in front of me at Buff State was an awesome guy the year before, and he led the league in all these stats, and Casey comes in there. Guys told me, go, Casey ain't not going to play there. I go, yeah, really? You think so? Casey Kaz is a winner because his head is always, he's a giant killer. So halfway through the season, guess who's starting for Buff State? Casey Kaz. By the time the season's over, Casey already has 4 records at Buff State. He just didn't quit. He had one hurdle, he had another hurdle, he had another hurdle, and he goes, you know what? I'm still going, coach. I'm going to keep working hard. He's a giant killer. He's faced the giants and he's overcoming them. You want to hang out with a guy at camp today, the rest of the day? Hang out with Casey. Rub shoulders with him, ask him questions. What does it take to make it in college, Case? You want to get there? Ask him. He's a giant killer because he always keeps his head. Question as we wrap up. If 0, Case, take a knee right here. Right now, if 0 is image, and 10 is faith and courage, where are you? Where's your heart at? Close your eyes just for a moment. Be honest with yourself. Where are you really at? Where are you really at? Are you worried about your image this year? Are you worried about the name on the back? Are you concerned about the team bank? Look at me. If you said you were a 6, say this with me. I can't change. Say this with me. I can't change my past, but I can change my future. Right. If you're a 6, be a 7. Work hard today and start to be a 7. Start to put the money in the bank. Because you know what? When the big game comes, you see Giants, when the Giants come and your team's in trouble, the question is, when you go to make a withdrawal out of the bank, will there be anything in it? Will there be anything in the bank when the tough team comes to town? Or will it be empty? That'll be the question. Casey had a lot of guys that put the money in the bank his senior year. Right, Case? They put it in the bank in the weight room. They put it in the bank in doubles. They put it in the bank when they were juniors. They put it in the bank when they were sophomores. And when they became the seniors, they were the giant killers, and they won the states. Because he had a group of guys that understood that I need to take my little penny and stick it in the bank. I'll take my quarter and stick it in the bank. You know what? Whether your team does it or not, you need to do it because here I'm going to finish you off with this. Say this with me. Do not grow tired of doing good, for at the proper time, I will be rewarded if I don't lose heart. I'm going to say finish, you say strong, and we're going to wrap this up. I'll say it in a second. I'm going to say a little phrase in front of it first, and then I'll say finish, you say strong. What you need to do is always to continue to fight the good fight. Keep the faith, because faith kills the giants, and finish the race. Fight the good fight, finish the race, keep the faith, finish, finish. Guys, it's been a privilege to talk to you today. I hope you left with one thing. If you left with one thing, today was successful. Today was successful. I gave you a lot. I gave you a lot. But if you can remember one thing, I'm going to tell you the thing to remember, okay? I'm going to say this 4 times because you got to get it in you. Because if you got it, you'll understand the jersey. Love never fails. Say it again. Love never fails. Love never fails. Love never fails. Coach Jufer, thank you for allowing me to share with these awesome athletes that you have here at the Kelly Camp.
Coach Masters, thank you very much. I told you it was great, wasn't it? Super job.